Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what time it is. We're a little bit late today for the Thursday live episode of the Mad Chatter. Jellyfingers here with my buddy J1A Bob.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Also have Helvetica in the background because we're going to do a little show about his one of his favorite guys today, so we had to have him on. So
hell yeah, man.
He's just going to pop in when he's not coughing. A little bit of a cold going on. So we're late for a very funny reason. As we were waiting in the background, Helvetica got a call from a number that was labeled as "I'm Batman." So J1 decided to call it back and leave a voicemail looking for Bruce Wayne and seeing if he could get a loan from him. So,
yep.
Anyways, it's what you do. It's the small things in life that give you more fun.
That's right.
It worked for me. That's all I'm going to say.
Made my day a little bit better.
Sure shit did for me. That's all I'm going to say.
So today we thought we would go do something a little different. Instead of ranting and raving about things, we'll just do some raving. Maybe a little bit of ranting. We'll see. We were going to do kind of an artist spotlight on Todd McFarlane, kind of do a life and times from the beginning of his career, up until recently. And then do a little speculation on the end. I've got a little something that I'd like to review to everybody, and we'll see what the thoughts are about it, and get some honest opinions because we have not talked about it yet. So I'll be hearing the opinions same as everybody else. David Reese, how are you, brother? Good to see you. So what's up, Jay? You got anything interesting going on?
Oh man, nothing too crazy.
No. I haven't really got to talk to you this week, so I haven't got to see what's come in this week.
Oh, I got some nice stuff today.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is about a 9.8.
Very nice.
So I'm not unhappy with that. This is about an 8. Not bad, right?
Sure.
And then this I'm proud of. This I'm proud of.
All right. Got a whole run.
And they're all
minty,
super duper clean, high grade. Especially.
Yeah.
I love when I get nice stuff. Nice stuff is so hard to come by nowadays.
It's jazz hands.
Dude,
it is jazz hands.
Well, it's not just jazz hands; it's spirit fingers too.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, that symbiote costume will kind of lead us into our artist.
Absolutely, that's why I kind of left it here. I thought it would be neat. Yeah. I was actually planning on, and speaking of,
yeah,
but
well.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll go with it.
Yeah. You'll have to let me know how my internet connection's doing. I'm kind of out of the Wi-Fi zone right now, and I just kind of had to throw my computer together at the last moment. So
you seem to be okay.
Okay, good.
Looks good to me, by the way.
Do you want to get into talking about the Todd father?
Oh, so guys, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Okay.
So everybody knows Todd McFarlane's probably two biggest characters that I don't think anybody's going to be able to argue this one are Spawn.
Who's that?
And Venom, right? I don't think anybody can argue that, and if they do, it's probably not going to be a good argument.
Well, I'd like to hear what they'd argue for, to be honest.
Right?
might be interesting to listen to.
So
Well, I think it's. Oh, go ahead. Never mind.
no, go.
No,
Hey, you're
I
not
was
gonna hurt
gonna
my
say
feelings.
like. No, I totally agree with that. But like, not only besides that are they iconic characters, but at the same time, just a story that went behind making them, which I'm sure you're going to dive into, is what makes them so iconic. It's just Spawn in specific. I know more of, but I want to take notes in comparison to like what I know that you guys are gonna slap me upside the face with some knowledge. You know what I mean? So I'm waiting for it.
We'll see if we can surprise you. I don't know. He's
J1 did with the spiders in his signature with his lines. I didn't know about that. That one time he said that, I was like, "Whoa, man!"
Yeah,
What?
that's one of the McFarlane's hidden secrets. I need a good one. That do I have one sitting around? I don't know. Oh no, that's a great book to talk about. Okay, I think I might have one. I'll look. So early McFarlane, right? Early McFarlane. Spawn was pretty much in his life since he was a teenager. If y'all didn't know that, he originally like started creating and like planning Spawn back when he was like 15 or 16 years old. I mean, some of his earliest drawings in his sketchbooks from when he was a kid, like Spawn looks nothing like what he did when he after once he was released, right? Like this was one of his earliest renditions of Spawn. I think it's a cool,
yeah.
right? I think it's cool. I think
So he was 16 when he did that one.
Yeah.
Look at the musculature in the legs.
Oh yeah.
Like from
Right?
a guy that just is kind of doodling on his own with no formal training.
I mean, he's already doing feet better than Liefeld.
Oh yeah.
Right? Now,
Hands better than Kirby.
True story, right?
Yeah.
But he worked in a printing. He worked as a printer, like somebody else I know. That might be like right there, right?
Yeah.
Worked as an artist in the printing industry, not related in comics at all, like that. And then he started doing underground a little bit and like writing his own stuff a little bit. And then he finally got his first big break in DC. Like nobody ever thinks Todd McFarlane, DC, really? But he did. That's where he got his first big break.
Mm-hmm.
On a comic called Coyote Heat.
Coyote.
Coyote.
Coyote. That's another one to pronounce it. I like that one too. But
call Batman back. Let him know.
Yep,
right?
We found it out. Leave Batman a message. Let him know we figured it out. It's all good. We're coming for World Hunger next.
But he he worked on the Coyote Heat and everything else. Yeah. And that that's one of the things that I like. It is not your traditional McFarlane book whatsoever, right? You're like,
so he didn't actually do. He actually didn't do Coyote. You know, he didn't do
the cover.
Yeah, he didn't actually nothing in the story. He had an 11-page spread in it.
Yeah,
of his own story,
his own stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
But that's where you find it, right?
Yeah, that's what book it's in. Correct.
But what I'm saying is, you can actually appear, like you don't on McFarlane kind of book, a little bit of a thing, or whatever.
Is that me?
I thought it was me because I was out of range. I think it's J1 though.
Yeah, I think it's J1. J1's in the Matrix.
Something.
You glitched out, brother.
Fine, I'll try.
Well, in regards to like early McFarlane, the one cool thing that I always liked about him, that I've inspired him personally, is the man never gave up. At the end of the day, you look at what he did when he was 16. So when he's starting up, he's sitting there and he's submitting artwork after artwork. And what's awesome what I've always loved is even though he got declined, it was constantly, you know what, not ready yet, try this. You know what,
He
not
not
ready yet,
only
try this.
got declined, but he had over 300 rejection letters.
Yeah, all constructive, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
it was awesome. Like,
he submitted over 700 times over the course of a year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, he had drive. I tell you what, that's the one fucking thing he didn't lack was fucking drive.
Yeah.
Like he wrote just give me the chance, give me the chance, give me the chance, give me the chance. And you know, they finally like, you know what? Okay. Have it. Fucking A, Jesus. And
he would like to be complimented more on his art is his drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he knows he's a good artist. He knows he's not the best artist. So, you know, some people would disagree with that. But he's, as a businessman, he's something else, man. He's just has never taken no for an answer.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that cues into that, in my opinion, is that the fact that the man has a vision. You're not going to tell him, like you said, no. But at the same time, not only does he have, I'm going to do this, but when I do this, this, and this is going to happen. So there's an A, B, and a C to the overall. That's what's amazing about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So he from there, he kind of got picked up, and now he's writing for DC, working on Infinity.
Infinity Inc., yeah.
Infinity?
He got Infinity Inc. and something else.
He did. He got that for 2 years. From 85 to 87, he was working on Infinity. I know that. And then from there, he got his first, like, holy shit, like, that people really, truly recognize him for, which is his Batman.
Yeah.
Right? And that's one of his earliest books that everybody, like, truly loves, is that freaking Batman 423 Todd Father amazingness, right? It's iconic beyond iconic as far as modern covers go, right? That's what Todd is. Todd is a modern father of comics. I mean, he truly is.
Yeah.
Well, he's the closest thing that's left alive for Stan Lee. He's like, he filled those shoes and he's running with it. I mean, you even see something.
Yeah. He's a generational talent.
Yeah.
So once a generation. So 60s, 70s, we had, you know, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, I would say, were kind of all hand in hand creating comics as we know it today. And then in the 80s, kind of had a little bit of lull. You can throw a few names out there, but and then the 90s come around and it's those Image guys. It's McFarlane in particular that starts changing the game a little bit, especially in terms of art.
Oh yeah.
Well, you got, for writers like from that time frame, you got Chris. What's his last name?
Chris Claremont. Yeah.
Claremont.
Sure.
Which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
That, like, he's just beyond amazingness.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean he's
I'm not saying there aren't legends from those areas, but
I other than the artwork, I put Claremont in that same category as Todd, as being like a king of the 80s.
Oh yeah, I would say so.
He may not have a cool name like the Todd Father, but Chris Claremont, like, to me, he's in that conversation because he's that important.
You could say he kept comics alive, probably.
Oh yeah,
in the way that we know it now.
But and then he started working on Marvel, so he's working Marvel and DC at the same fucking time, which is what's really kind of crazy, right? That's a huge fucking no-no nowadays, right? Huge.
Well, how big of a draw do you have to be for both companies to be like, no, I'm cool with it?
Right?
You know?
Like, everybody was like, you know what? I don't care what you write or who you want to put ads in Playboy. That's fine as long as you're still writing on my comics.
Yep.
And he started in Marvel. He started with Hulk,
Yep.
which everybody knows that freaking amazing. Like one of my favorite Hulks is the Hulk Nut Punch, man. And it's an ASM, I know, but I don't care because it's just like he didn't draw it that way intentionally. You don't think, but maybe just maybe he did.
Yeah.
Like, what's the one way Spider-Man can get Hulk to double over? Punch him in the dick as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Because on the one side you got the Todd father, doing just amazing artwork with Hulk, and the storyline at the time was great. They were transitioning to and from the Gray Hulk, and the stories were, some of the Hulk that came out during that time frame is some of the most iconic issues and most collected issues.
Oh, definitely the most collected.
With the exception of the 12 centers and 15 centers.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're huge keys. And they're not like there's major characters being created right in there.
They're just awesome covers.
It's just the unbelievable artwork of McFarlane that make them worth so much.
Absolutely.
And after Hulk, he kind of transitioned into Spider-Man.
He demanded.
Yeah, he wanted Spider-Man
to be given a shot at Spider-Man.
And what is McFarlane's first issue of Spider-Man, Mr. Helvetica?
Oh, that is Amazing Spider-Man #1. The what the hell was it? Torment?
That's right, his own run, which is out fucking standing. And they're like, he is doing so amazing with it. We're going to let you into the main line where he starts at 2. Come on, give it to me.
With the what?
With what issue in the main Amazing Spider-Man? Jelly.
I'm dying. Hold on.
He's coughing his ass off.
I know. He's dying. 298.
There you go. I was trying to give it to him because it's one of his favorite characters.
I know, but he's okay.
Because Spawn, you can see flavors of Venom in Spawn and Spawn and Venom. Honestly, right?
Oh yeah, it's the whole framework, and especially too that was like damn it, I hate having the cough. I ever mentioned that.
Jay, did you see that video I sent you about who created Venom?
No.
It was with Todd.
Where's that?
I think I sent it to I think I texted it to you.
You texted it?
Mm-hmm. So he talks about he's talking about between him and McFarlane about how the idea came through.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Okay. Anyway, it's a great story about how they wanted, like Todd demanded to be on ASM. And he said, but I'm going to do it my way. And I'm going to do it with the red and blue suit. He's like, This black suit is nonsense. I don't want it. And they said, okay. And so the editor at the time, which was, oh boy, can't think of his name.
That one's beyond me.
Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, he used to call it his spaghetti webbing.
Oh yeah.
I always thought it looked like barbed wire to me.
Well, the one cool thing about it though is like it was just so in my opinion, Spider-Man Web back then was just so linear. Let's just throw it on a page. It gave it no character.
Well, absolutely, but the way he changed it, it's his attention to the little details, the things he changes.
Yeah.
That it's like now the webbing has come alive.
Yeah.
And they were like they got Spider-Man and it was his like literal drive to draw him in the craziest poses he could come up with.
Yeah,
And
well,
he would,
that's too is like just the emphasis too on he's Spider-Man. Let's make him just legitimately like a spider, and it was key an element even too something that I try to do if I actually ever draw that. Like knee has to be above his head.
yes,
Like
he's yeah.
it's got to be something like that, man.
He said I would put him into positions that nobody would be able to be in. He's like, my proportions would be all off. He's like, but as long as you're close and it looks like a crazy thing, like he's like, people love it. And I
Yes.
Yeah.
agreed. I mean, it was just fantastic the way he would have these poses, and you're like, well, that doesn't look possible, but you know, it kind of does now. Now that I
You know,
see
he's
it,
a spider, so he's all sorts of crazy flexible.
yeah, you're like, I guess that works.
I mean, look at him in that picture right there. He could do it himself. He doesn't need anybody
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you look at it too, it's not just in his individual limbs; it's his fingers, his extremities, everything. It has a flow to it.
Yeah.
It goes from point A to B. So literally from his fingertip, almost like a jolt of lightning, all the way down to his core, all the way through his toes. So it's like everything has a fluid motion. When you have that fluid motion too, not only that, but pay attention to all that detail that's all the way in the background. And something that I've always looked at, stared at ever since I was little is this is why when I do stuff, I take forever, is because especially if I'm really pouring a lot into it, because I get lost in all that stuff. And I know he's even said he does the same thing. So it's like, even for example, like, look at that. Like the little tiny stuff in and about and around. Like you don't just have like Spider-Man and Venom. Yeah, that could be fine. But it's also, too, there's a design element to it. You have Venom up on the top left, and in design school, you're taught the natural eye pattern, it follows a backwards S. Starting from the top left corner, ends at the bottom right. So if you look at the flow of this whole thing, starts off with Venom, first thing that catches your eye, goes over to the script. You have Spider-Man that kind of flows down all the way down over to the bottom left text bubble. There's a technique to the way he's laying these out. Even as simple as that might be,
But
it's
he
something
never
that's
went to art school.
that's my thing.
That's
what
what's
I'm getting
crazy
at.
about it.
Yeah. So I mean, just throwing it out there. Sorry, but
Yeah,
No,
no,
you're
that's
fine,
cool.
dude.
But yeah, so that's
That's
kind of
part of the reason we asked you to come on, jerkface.
you
but
stupid.
that's what was about Todd that everybody gravitated toward. Because at the time it was, you had these guys that would do these amazing action scenes. You know, like you'd have Al Milgrom and stuff like that would do these great big splash pages and stuff like that. But Todd's art was different. It was more detailed. It was more dynamic. There was more action, even in the little things.
Yes, 1000%.
And it was about like, the best way I can put it, it was like about evoking emotion, but the emotion was, oh, dude, that's badass. Like it appealed to that person that was like, just that early 90s vibe of just, oh, that's cool. Like that's visually cool.
Well,
What
when I look at him, right? You know, I did Spider-Man wasn't one of my reads when I was a child, right?
Yeah.
I found my love of Spider-Man probably in my 20s.
I would
Like,
say
when
it
I
was
was-
probably the same. Spider-Man to me always seemed like a kid's book.
Yes, I loved Thor and Superman, and I read a little bit of Batman, but like I couldn't afford all that shit, like all the different covers from when I was a kid.
Sure.
But like when I look at Spider-Man from the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see 1000% the influence of Todd and how he drew Spider-Man and how they want him to move and react in all the modern day movies, all of them, all the way back to the original Spider-Man 1 with his movements and his and how he, like, Todd took Spider-Man from a wall crawling, web slinging thing to this like majestic, like moving through the air like nothing. It's like contorting his body in ways that he shouldn't be able to, right? Yes.
Fact.
He's also Steve Ditko also is the first person to draw what's his name? Wolverine. We talked about that one the other day. Sorry, I lost train of thought there. But anyways, like I don't see like any like of the original Spider-Man like in the movies. I see Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, like the way he designed him and how he how he does everything he does.
Well, I would challenge everybody to go back and read Todd McFarlane's run of Spider-Man because it's more adult.
I'll give you that.
It doesn't have the same kind of campiness Spider-Man has. It's more adult. He's more kind of badass, and it's really good.
I've always had this feeling, in my opinion, Todd McFarlane is just more than a comic writer. He's actually an author of horror, in my opinion. So a lot of that stuff that he kind of sits there and he writes, it kind of, if you look at the way that he writes, they're kind of like a Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein kind of feel, where it's like not horror per se, but it follows that operatic kind of like flow. He has the plot, but he also he'll tie in like a little bit of that soap opera-ness to it, that little fluff, you know what I mean? But his art element, the blacks is what he heavily relies on. So like his black is his foundation. That brings that whole appeal and everything to it. It brings that aesthetic. So overall, you get this whole, a Todd McFarlane piece because he's very heavy on the darker side of
So
artwork.
And this goes along with that, he's probably one of the better, if not best, inkers out there. And still does it to this day. But we'll get into that when he gets going with Image.
Yes. So everybody knows that Todd McFarlane has this very interesting signature. And, one of his favorite characters that he ever drew for or wrote for ever, of course, even more so than his own creation, was Spider-Man. Right? He's always loved Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And in his signature, the little lines he puts under his McFarlane, the amount of lines that he puts under there correspond directly into how many spiders are hidden in his artwork. And people look at me like I'm crazy, but it's super duper true. Yeah. If you look at Torment, right? Which Torment, number one, is nothing but like spider after spider after spider after spider after spider, right? Zoom in under his name and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This one is a question mark because there's so many spiders he couldn't put the amount of lines that he hit into them, right? It's not a question mark McFarlane. Did he write this? It's a gimmick that he created.
Yeah.
See, when I was little, I always thought it was he. So I first got my hands on one of these books. This one, I got this along with Sub City, the number 13.
Yep.
So that's the black suit variant of this.
Yes.
And I remember looking at it and I was like, okay, why is there a question mark? Well, maybe he drew this way back when, and he just forgot the damn date. So my dumbass, until I was like, when I was little, all the way up until 14. No, I didn't really recently learn about the actual lines and everything to tell how much spiders are in it.
Do you have a 300 or something cover?
On me?
No.
I can get you. Hold on, give me a second. I'm about to say I don't have. I'm not made of that, man.
I could get up and get one, but I don't really want to walk away. But I was hoping somebody would have one art like put aside. But so Spawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I see a lot of Spawn in Venom, right?
Or
it's got to be that way because Venom came first, unfortunately. But his creation, came first, right? Now, if you look right there, Michelini, right now, if you look under the L, he's got one line. So somewhere on this cover, and it's usually almost always in the webbing, there's a single spider hidden. and I never remember where it is on here, but
No, you'll spend forever looking for it.
yeah, like you can try to find it, but like that's what those lines under his name for. It's just a little gimmick, but it's a good one, right? It's funny, it's catchy, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, Venom is like the number one fucking nemesis, he's literally the anti Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can cue it however you want, but if they were just to straight out slugfest it back and forth, man, Venom would win every time. Like Peter always has to cheat somehow. Well, he does.
Venom's original teeth were just normal teeth.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Who gave him pointy teeth?
So, fun
yeah.
fact, by the way, that's where I actually Todd McFarlane's Venom is the inspiration where I got Shenanigans denture work from.
Yeah. So it was, and then who took over after him? Was it Eric Larson on Spider-Man?
I think so.
Yeah, Larson. That was wasn't that the one where he goes cyborg and everything too? Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that is Larson.
Yeah. So if you look, Larson's actually the one that did that. Like you can't tell when McFarlane stopped and Larson started artistically because Larson literally made his characters look exactly like McFarlane. It's super interesting.
I think it was almost like to pay homage because it was how do I top that? In my opinion.
And he gave him the 5-foot tongue.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Larson
I would have too.
Yeah, actually McFarlane hates it.
Yeah. Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's like, I wish the tongue was more like a.
Oh, the tongue. Okay, never mind.
Like zip out and come back.
I thought you were talking about giving McFarlane a Frenchie. I was like, well,
what is his name? Right? What is the character's name? Venom. When you think Venom, what do you associate it with?
Poison.
Like if you were going to associate it with an animal.
Oh, like a snake? Yeah.
I associate it, and the same way with the eyes of Venom.
Wasn't it like basically something along the lines of, and I'm actually going to need correction for this because I vaguely heard he only named himself Venom out of spite for Spider-Man, and it was something like his hatred was like something about like what the hell? There was something about him being angry, and it tied into like Venom or something towards Spider-Man, and I forget what it was. You can fill me in, please, because I vaguely remember. I don't know if you remember
from the actual story or from like behind the scenes how he got the name.
Because he says in the actual story something about him being Venom, and he explains why we're going to call ourselves Venom.
Well, it's because Spider-Man exposed Eddie Brock's story and got him kind of fired from his job and stuff. So he was super angry at Spider-Man. Yeah. So it was literally a revenge against Spider-Man.
Because he had venomous feelings.
There you go. I always remember it was something like that. But the cool thing too, what I like about the whole character design between Spider-Man and Venom is Todd McFarlane genuinely created I want something big that Spider-Man just can't go toe to toe with, like you said earlier. Yep. He's going to have to use his smarts. He's going to have to use his agility. He's going to have to do. He can't. This is something that he can't just take head on. But it's also like just to emphasize like the complete dynamic, like a yin and yang, and that's what I've always liked about that. Growing up, I've always
a big hulking character that had a impenetrable suit, and so that's why they revisited back to Secret Wars about the symbiote suit because it could repair itself.
And he needed it.
Yeah,
he had to have it for Secret Wars. Now, what's crazy is that when the symbiote merged with Eddie Brock, the symbiote didn't actually hate Spider-Man or Peter Parker. All it wanted to do was remerge, and it was just trying to use Eddie Brock
just
to get Peter Parker back and be his symbiote again, right? He wanted to merge with fucking Spider-Man again. Like, he had to be back. But the thing it didn't understand is that Eddie Brock's feelings of hatred were so fucking powerful and so intense that the symbiote lost all of its want and desire to remerge with Spider-Man, to remerge with Peter Parker and be his suit again, that he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Dude, so much hatred that it actually overwhelmed. It like the symbiote was literally overwhelmed with the amount of hatred that Eddie Brock had towards Spider-Man, which is fucking funny because all Spider-Man did was prove how big of a douche he was. But whatever. Just saying. Just saying. But anyway, so Spider-Man, you know, the whole amazing 90s of Spider-Man with Todd McFarlane, it didn't last as long as it should have, if you ask me. I would have loved to have seen him to keep writing Spider-Man for a little bit longer, but, you know, it is what it is. It's what happens.
I mean, Eric Larson's art was great.
I'm not disagreeing that way.
Just the visions, the layouts just weren't the same.
But you know, Todd, we got what, 3 years of Todd McFarlane Spider-Man?
Yeah,
roughly.
Yeah, about that.
I mean, I'm not upset with it.
No, not at all.
But you know, this is not the Spider-Man special. This is the Todd McFarlane special. So we have to move on. Well, as much as we all appreciate Spider-Man now,
one without the other.
No, you can't. So where does he go from Spider-Man? What does he do? You know, he's got all this.
He's as hot as he could possibly be at this moment.
Yes. There's no name in the industry that's more important or draws as much readers as Todd McFarlane does right now, right?
Yeah.
I almost said Seth MacFarlane because, you know, I love Family Guy, but whatever. But so where does he go from here?
This is around 1992.
Mm-hmm.
So he grabs. He gets sick of Marvel, DC. Mostly sick of the editing.
Who does he get sick of specifically?
Well, I don't know. I don't know who you're asking.
Who's editor in chief?
This is diving into something that I thought he was just like, you know what, we could do our own thing. So this is something
that's right. He got into tons of fights with who was it?
And I'm sure it had to be creative differences, right?
But I mean, he used to get in fights with everybody because he wanted to do things his way.
Yeah.
And he was a very, if it's not my way, I don't want to do it kind of guy.
Yeah, the right to. Look what the hell he did.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of his quotes was, you know, I'm a steamroller and you're going to get rolled over if you get in my way. Mm-hmm. And it's totally a fact. It's exactly how you weren't going to make him compromise his vision.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to think who the editor was. It was Van something. Or maybe he was well, anyway. You figure that out. So he grabs 6 other of the hottest artists in the business and says, I'm going to start my own company. We're going to, for the first time, do creator owned. We're going to do a conglomerate. We're going to publish our own books. And it's going to be mostly creator owned. There's obviously little things that go back to the company to keep it afloat. So he grabs, Todd McFarlane, you've got Eric Larson, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Mark Silvestri, Jim Valentino, and I was forgetting one. Will Portasio. So they start this.
By the way.
Huh?
It was DeFalco.
DeFalco what? Oh,
That was the editor.
yes. Yeah.
He thought Todd was way too fucking graphic, and it was
Well, that's
too
because I'm trying to think. He did. Oh, what book was this? He did something where somebody got stabbed in the eye.
I already love it.
But it was like really graphic. Like, I mean, it was just really close up on the eye, and they were like, it's too. But see,
dark. He thought the Comics Code Authority was gonna.
Yeah. But that was Todd's whole gimmick was like when he started Spawn, he went through his portfolio, he saw the sketches of Spawn, and he's like, I need to update this. And his quote was, I need to make it more 90s. I need to make it hyper violent. So that's what his direction was for Spawn. So anyway,
here you go. Here it is. It was Juggernaut.
Yeah, Juggernaut. That's it.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
But that makes total sense.
How do you fuck up Juggernaut? You go for the softest tissue on the body, right there.
It's exactly what it, and that's one of the greatest panels in any of his books. Because you're like, that's such a great story.
And I had read somewhere that's like the equivalent to, like, I forget, there was a revisit of like, there was like, I don't know if it was a What If comic, but that one where Wolverine goes and like he fights the Wendigo with the Hulk, and he explains what it actually feels like to get punched by the Hulk. He tried to like team up with the Hulk, and the reason I'm bringing that up, he stabbed there. The Juggernaut got stabbed, and then in comparison, Wolverine says, "The only way I can take out the Hulk, I just got to stab him right in the ear, just get it." Like, dude, he was trying to do that. Hulk blocked it and just punched him. Like,
right.
Like they're all fighting the Juggernaut, and he it was so cool because he goes, "It's time you all saw my point of view," and then he stabs him right in the freaking eyeball.
That's killer.
I mean, it's about as good as it gets, and they're like, "That's it. We can't take this no more."
So I think that was probably the final straw of many straws. But so that was the whole gimmick for Image, was to go back to creator owned. Give the characters, the stories back to the creators. Before that, everything was, all the IP was owned by whatever company they were drawing for, because they were considered work for hire.
Oh yeah, they had NDAs, and what's the other one for the proprietary rights clause?
Oh
my goodness.
I know what you're talking about. I forget the damn, what do you call it?
Whatever they create, design, or anything whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And it's published through their companies.
I have to
no longer have intellectual rights to any of it. They forfeit all rights. I just wish I could remember what it.
It's like it's like a form of a copyright agreement.
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, the technical linguist is whatever. But go ahead. Sorry.
So he starts, and this is in 1992. He starts that. Image starts off with their first comic is Youngblood. The next month is the first issue of Spawn. So as we talked about before, Spawn was a character he started kind of messing around with and coming up with kind of different stories for when he was 16. And once he started writing the first Spawn, it's super interesting because the characters in Spawn are all inspired from his life. And there's a lot of religious idolatry and things like that in his writing. He's Catholic, so he's kind of speaking from the forbidden fruit side of things with Spawn. He's got, a spawn of Satan that's, fighting this good evil game in his head where he's working for the devil, but he's conflicted with the feelings of the love for his wife and his child. And it's this dichotomy in his own brain of him trying to just do what's told of him, do what he has to do, but still see his. And if anyone doesn't know the story of Spawn was, killed in action, brought back to life by the devil, essentially, or not back to life, but back as a demon Spawn in order to see his wife again.
Contract and blood, man.
Yeah. So
I like to think he was reanimated.
Yeah, I guess you could say reanimated. That'd be, but I mean, his conscience is still there, so I don't know.
It ploys into this whole thing like you never make a deal with the devil. You're going to get fucked over one way or another.
Yes.
Fun fact, I don't know if you guys knew, but Al Simmons was actually the name of his college roommate.
Yes. So
Yes.
Al Simmons was on the baseball team with him at Eastern Washington. Spawn's wife's name is Wanda. Todd McFarlane's wife's name is Wanda. Spawn's daughter's Spawn's daughter's name is Cyan. So is Todd McFarlane's daughter. So it's this. So he's like, what can I write about better than my own life?
But not only that, he did mention too as well, it would be awesome to immortalize his family, his loved ones.
Yes.
So I thought that was just, holy shit, that's an awesome sentiment. Like, God damn.
But that just goes to show you kind of who he is as a person.
Yeah.
Like, even as where he was at that point in his life he was an arena rock star, and the fact that he was basically pushing it all on the table that Image was going to be successful. He was willing to gamble everything on himself and Image. And the first thing he does is immortalize his friends and family in a book. So.
But I mean, Jesus, dude, look at that.
Look at the stuff on the ground that he's sitting on.
Yeah. And I mean, this panel always, I remember when I was little, this is like the origins of like how I started. What's up, Sans? How you doing, man? We're actually talking some Todd fodder today, man. Like, and the guys are like, hey, we're going to talk Todd. You want to? Yeah, man, that's my number one right there. But when I started drawing, man, I started off like the Triangle Eyes. And then you have like everything in there. It not only goes from that, but there's character on everything. Could have easily just took the scapegoat and just kind of put the detail into, but like you said, the trash, everything. It has its own tatter. It has its own character. Every single piece.
The brick on the wall has its own character.
Yeah.
Each and every brick is paid attention to.
Yeah.
Well, and not just that, but everything is detailed, like you say, but everything is so, I hate to say it, Todd, but dark, right? Everything is so dark and like, I mean, the lines, like he's the blacks. I mean, that's what he's known for. Like Helvetica said earlier, right? I mean, it's just.
Mark Silvestri once said, he's like, I don't really think he liked drawing Spider-Man as much as Spawn. He's like, if Spider-Man would have had a cape, he would have never stopped. Because he just loves drawing capes so much.
Yeah.
And that previous,
and infamous, I mean,
and then exactly.
But I mean, look at that right there. That whole thing, it's carried by ink. Like literally.
Oh, 100%.
You splash minimal color. And if you look at the original, there's some orange or some yellow, but realistically, it's not. There's artists that rely heavily on the digital artwork. They rely heavily on the digital color to really emphasize the depth, the character, the nitty gritty and everything. But he's already got it there. All you got to do, literally just a couple color splash, it's done. Like there's really, that's the foundation. And that's what I've always loved about it. I mean, even stuff like, sorry, tell me to stop, but I just like,
No, don't. I mean, I could look at these all day, especially like a nice proof.
You brought up the Hulk, man, and this cover in particular, I've always sat there and I've studied it when I was little. I used to have these in my short box when I was younger, man, and looking at the line work, and that's something I always wanted to do. Yeah, you could draw a fist, but look at the movement, look at the power, look at everything, and the command that this piece has. Like, it's not only that, but the more you look at it, the more you see. You look at the little fingers at the bottom that you don't see until you're really dissecting and really taking it in. And to a lot of people, I know that this was something that even my uncles growing up, they were saying, hey, man, it's off-putting. There's a lot of, no, it's not. It's meant that the art tells a story itself. If you could sit there, spend time reading a couple of words, why not sit there and spend some time looking at some lines?
Well, yeah,
what he's trying
this
to say.
artwork draws you in. You're like, there is a lot going on here. I need to sit down and really appreciate this.
Yeah, man. And I mean, there it is. There's a but I mean, overall, same thing. Look at his arms, look at his hands, look at everything.
It's the for my money, I think nobody does hands better than McFarlane. I just love the way they look.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's just like the grit he puts into it. It's just. But I digress. Continue before I derail.
No, I'm into it. I'm like, oh yeah, what's next? So let's see, where were we? I forgot already. We're just starting up Image.
You had Sands, by the way, asking, was Spawn connected to Marvel before? No, I think the only affiliation. I mean, you guys could chime in on that. You guys were talking about that earlier. I think you guys probably carry that one better.
So the first, no, there was no connection to Marvel. So DC had a crossover, Spawn Batman, which actually is going to be redone with
Super
McFarlane writing and Capullo is the artist in December of this year.
Man, those Virgin copies are looking amazing, by the way.
Oh, dude, there is so as good as Todd McFarlane is at drawing Spawn, I think Capullo's better. He's just so good.
And he is. You can't argue.
I cannot wait to
see. Todd says Capullo is better than he is.
Yeah, I mean, Todd will say a lot of people are better than him, but you know, I believe him that Capullo is because their covers are incredible.
The one thing with Capullo, I believe, and I don't have proof of this, but just looking at it, I mean, there's obviously reason. There's reason. Excuse me. There's reason why you see Capullo. I think he's the #1 commission just for that fact. I think that that as stuck as Todd McFarlane is on his own vision, his own baby, I totally get it. It's one of those things where you create something, you want to see it come to fruition, and I think Capullo just nailed that vision to where it's like, I don't have to hold that leash anymore. You do what you do because you got it. It's
You know. I mean, he quit doing inks on what, issue 70 or something like that.
Was it 70 or 80? I can't remember. Yeah, he stopped doing it for a while.
Like, you're destroying it. I don't even need to do it anymore. Thank you.
So Image was Spawn was the second release on the Image label. So it went Youngblood, Spawn, then Savage Dragon. So and this is kind of where he was with, like, he only wrote up to issue 7 or 8. Can't remember. I think it was
what?
8.
Savage Dragon?
Oh, Spawn.
Oh, yeah.
Then he started farming out the work. He ended up
It was that one issue. I think it was when Cerberus came in. Which issue was that? Because
Dave Sims?
Yeah, because he did a couple of those that were like that.
Yeah. So Oh, and I forgot to say earlier, the original Batman Spawn. So DC did one that had who wrote it? Oh, it's going to drive me crazy. But the Image one was Frank Miller and Todd drawing it. But I can't remember who the DC book was pretty good too.
So if I can,
I
was never. I love Spawn, big fanboy. That one thing I could not stand about the Frank Miller edition of the Batman Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
Batman was way too fucking. I'm just gonna go in there guerrilla warfare. Just don't get there was no pre-planning and I don't know, man. It was
that's
so
Frank
clunky.
Miller Batman.
Yeah, man, and I was just like. See, that was my
Did you
first
not like the Dark
introduction to
Knight
it.
Returns?
So I reading it, I've never really fully read it just because I was
Okay.
so. It's one of those things where just because of that Spawn Batman, I remember reading it. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
it shouldn't have been that bad. You know what I mean? Like if it was me, Batman would have been in the shadows. Considering, I think Spawn would have knew, but you don't mess with me, I won't mess with you, kind of mentality.
Yeah.
But I also think it would have been something where Batman might have just calculated, hey, what's going on here? How do I do this? I'll watch this guy for a little bit, then I'll make my move when I'm ready. Not,
Yeah.
hey, you son of a bitch! Like, you know.
So that was Frank Miller's Batman.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
So I never wanted to be let down by his the Dark Knight. So I was just like, now I'm gonna have to read it and just open mind and just go into it.
Yeah, you just think of it like the Sin Cities, kind of like the Daredevil runs, where he's just a bit grittier than you think he should be.
Yeah.
And so if you just think in your head like, all right, this is just a little bit farther than I pushed it, but if I just pay attention to the narrative and what's it's much better.
Yeah.
He does bastardize the characters just a little bit, but in a good way.
Yeah,
So,
like totally. Like, go ahead. Well, I digress because like I said, I got to stop myself because I'll be like, oh, damn it. It's like totally.
Yeah. So 2 years, and Spawn sold right off the bat 1.7 million copies.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was a flash in the pan. I mean, now, granted, there was a time when Spawn was only selling, like in the crash in the 2000s, where he was only selling 17,000 copies an issue, but it survived. So, anyway, so Todd, around 94, toy company. So you could say Todd is to comics and to toys the same visionary, because he has changed the toy game too. So 94, he starts what's called Todd Toys.
Did he freeze?
It looks like he did.
Well, one thing you're
Wait,
going
he's
to
back.
My back? Okay.
I was
What
about
was
to
the
rant
last thing
till
you
you
heard me
guys.
say?
Todd's Toys.
Right.
You were starting to dive into Todd's Toys, which, by the way, thank God for McFarlane Toys, because Todd's Toys is just no.
Yeah. So Todd Toys, he starts, and then he gets a cease and desist letter from Mattel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because they have a character that's with Barbie named Todd. So they send him a cease and desist. And he says, all right, whatever. It's called McFarlane Toys now. So he starts McFarlane Toys off with Spawn characters. Well, this is 2 years after he just sold 1.7 million copies of his first comic book. He sells 2.2 million action figures in 3 months.
Damn.
So he is on top of the world. So then as the Spawn characters, and they see like, oh, this guy, like, these are not just action figures. Like, they're sculptures that do more things than the action figures can do. They come with these cool sculpted, weapons, and they can move in all these different dynamic poses that action figures weren't really doing at the time. They had one arm that was like this, and that was cool, like the Ninja Turtles. But he had pivoting all over the place, so you could pose them however you wanted.
Articulation.
Yeah. It was amazing what he did. And McFarlane Toys blew up, and it's still, it was it's in the YouTube auction. Was it on the MadHouse? So and so then he's all over, like, he's becoming a force in entertainment at this point. He's conquered 2 markets at this point. So then he starts, he did a Follow the Leader Korn album. That was his art on there.
Yeah.
So, in about 96, I think, he started up Todd McFarlane Entertainment with the thought that he was going to do the movie, the Spawn movie. So he partnered up with New Line Cinema, and they release the Spawn movie, which I actually have a original movie poster from that. And there's a lot of opinions on that movie.
I liked it.
So I remember watching it in high school, and I remember thinking, this is too 90s. And it was in the 90s.
I can see
you
that,
know,
yeah.
like it's the CGI was bad. I mean, the story wasn't bad. Like the acting wasn't bad. Matter of fact, John Leguizamo was freaking amazing.
Yeah, so was
dude, absolutely.
What's his name? Micah J. White? I forget his full name.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Yeah, dude, I thought he
they were fantastic.
Yeah.
But also, what do we have coming up? Another Spawn movie starring Jamie Foxx.
Which
I'm indifferent to.
Yeah.
Really? I think it's going to be awesome.
I'm open-minded. So I'm like neutral about it. So Jamie Foxx, one thing I will give the man, he's multi-talented. Look at how he did Ray Charles. Look at how he did.
100%.
The man can sit there. My God. So I mean, I'm not going to discredit him for what I know he has it in him, but I need to. The only thing I hope that, excuse me, that I'm indifferent about, like J1 is I've heard it's going to be a horror movie, which it's from a third-person view of watching Spawn from the shadows, which is like, how does that work? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I do, but I think it's going to be amazing.
Oh, dude, I'm all for it.
That's just what I'm hoping for.
Dude, I'll cosplay, and I don't care. I'll go as the damn clown because, I mean, round's a shape, right? I don't care.
Yeah, you just do yourself some pigtails and spray paint them blue. And
oh, dude, yeah, I'll go in the cheerleader outfit. I don't care.
But yeah, so that, I mean, and honestly, up to that point in his life, it was, I mean, he just keeps going, and it's like nothing will stop him. I mean, they've tried to reboot that Spawn movie for, 10 years now, probably. And
yeah, it's been on the list for a hot minute.
Yeah, and I think he just recently said, if it doesn't happen now, it's not going to happen. So, but I feel like we've gushed on him enough. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well,
but kind of our big thing here was what was just announced recently is he's doing a signing at CGC.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we wanted to talk about was what he will and won't sign.
Oh, I love this.
Sans, I could not agree. That HBO cartoon is
I was going to bring
so
that
good.
up.
That's the best.
It's by far the best.
Hands
I still
down.
watch that
David Keith is the man, dude.
3 times
it's
a
what
year.
the first movie should have been.
Yeah.
Is David Keith still alive?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
He was so perfect for that.
I had heard in the background too, speaking of David Keith, he was going to, I think they were going to be doing another Gargoyles revival, and he was going to reprise Goliath too.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I did see that actually.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Dude, that was another good one he did, man. I love that damn cartoon. But
Gargoyles, dude, for being a kid show, it was very dark.
Yeah.
For a kid show, especially a Disney kid show. And it was complete, which not most Sunday morning and Saturday morning and afternoon cartoons were finished.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of canceled, right?
Yeah.
My favorite show, my favorite cartoon from being a kid was Dark Waters, right?
Oh, that's a good one too.
The pirate one where they're sailing around trying to find the crystals. And they got 5 crystals and then they canceled the show.
Comic book was
And
terrible.
Yes, but you're like, so how did it fucking finish? I want to fucking. How did it fucking finish? I want to know. Did he save the world?
Dude, that's it, man. We're gonna go find the damn author, and it's gonna be like a Misery Part 2, man.
Right?
We're gonna chain him to the bed, dude. Finish it, and if we don't like it, we're gonna have some problems.
But Gargoyles, on the other hand, beginning to end, right? It was complete. That's my whole point. Like that show was so good.
But
the only thing that didn't happen that should have happened was some crossbreeding between the female detective and Goliath. That's all.
Almost did in the cartoon. Remember, she got transformed. Just saying. So I was like, they know what they're doing. But kind of like what Sans was saying about the Spawn cartoon, that's ultimately full credit right there. Is my uncles used to watch it religiously, and just watching it, it was just.
I still watch it 3 times a year.
Yeah, like, it's good. I just hate
good.
Right in the middle when the Redeemer comes after him, and like it's like, dude, you're about to get Angela and the Spawn clash, and they just like, we're done. Like, why, man?
Well, and it's like it was pretty huge at HBO. Like, I'm not sure why they.
That's one thing I never knew either. It's just it was. I don't know if it was funding or what the hell it was. You know what? Actually, I did read somewhere that some people weren't responding to it for some reason at the time, and it was way ahead of its time. So of course HBO.
I would agree with that.
Dude, and not only that, but what was epic about that cartoon, you gotta dive into. Now I'm gonna crack that shell a little bit as far as like just so I can kind of like how do I put it black and white between like Todd McFarlane and I've realized some of the subliminal inspirations I get from him. So like if you watch that show, the HBO show in the beginning, every single show came with a monologue. And
yes. Yeah.
I know that he loves sitting there and like, so you're going down a dark alley. This is happening, you know, like you get to deal with the devil. What are you going to do? And he puts you in the position as in, what are you going to do in that position? It really leaves emphasis on that whole, like, so it's not just a cartoon, but there's a moral to everything. And there's a whole method to his madness.
Absolutely.
So to be able to see, like, I'll just say like with the MadHouse, when I created Shenanigans, like for like, hey, you know, like let's make this a character. But at the end of the day, when creating stuff like that, there is a subliminal Todd McFarlane thing. You create something, but at the same time, it has to have some kind of an emphasis to it. It has to have some kind of like a plot. What's the purpose? What's the general direction you're going into it? You know what I mean? And that road that he paved just from that show played a lot of influence on as checkers to chess. Completely unrelated, but it did have influence.
So,
and a lot of the point A to B kind of.
Like,
here's where I'll probably divert from you, Helvetica, is as a writer, I don't think he's very good. As an idea guy, as a storyteller, I like him, but as a writer, I don't think he's very good.
So I'll do I could take both positions, but you know what? I'm gonna have to now that I'm older, when it's little, it leaves a footprint, right? Oh my god, it's so good. But
absolutely,
once you get older, I do have to admit the Todd Father, that is one thing, is like he great as far as like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. His first story arc was against what's his name?
The mob boss guy.
Not just the mob boss. No, it was
the
Billy Kincaid.
Yeah, Billy Kincaid.
I mean, the dude was a damn child predator, and
child molester. That's right.
Yeah. He drove an ice cream truck. He was a child predator, and Spawn just was not down with that. So I mean, like the storytelling is like, what's the most vile thing to kind of show? And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, there is the cheesiness element to it.
So I believe, let's see, what issue was that? I think when he killed Billy Kincaid, was it 5 or?
It was pretty early on. I think it might have been 5 or 6.
Yeah. So his wife Wanda was actually the editor of the book up until that point, and that very last panel where he's got like Billy Kincaid chained up, and he's got the popsicle in his mouth, and he's like, "Oh, yes," like that creepy, like I scream, you scream, we all scream. Like
And I screamed,
that's where she's
screamed and screamed.
yeah, that's where she's like, okay, I'm done with this. She's
Yeah.
like, I can't, and he's like, I fired her. So yeah, so that's where she was the editor of the first 5 books or something. And
I had to.
Yeah, up until like number 7, he did. He wrote under a pseudonym for a couple of years. Later on,
Oh, that's new to me. What was it?
Try,
Oh, you know what it is?
I can't remember what his pseudonym was, but he did it
Google,
for
help
like
me.
2.5 years, and he wanted people to think that he had brought new talent into Spawn. But he kind of went back to the old crappy writing. So I mean, everybody figured it out because they're well, I can't remember what his pseudonym was, but they, wanted to do interviews with him and stuff, and he's nowhere to be found. And
yeah, it doesn't say.
Sitting there like a geek. But
so
he wrote about 20 issues in that pseudonym too.
I'm gonna interrupt real quick because you were on track, and then you got off track again.
Where did dude? I'm on tangents. Sorry,
I know.
I get so excited with Todd.
You're me this week, which is
I know. I'm like
enjoying
it. Okay,
right? We need this for you.
Yeah. So where did I go off the rails?
You were starting to talk about what he's getting ready to do.
CGC.
Oh, good Lord. That was like an hour
and that was
ago.
like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's probably my fault.
Go.
Attention, swimmer! You are too far! Return immediately!
I let you have it. And I
know.
promise.
I know.
But now I'm gonna okay.
So Todd is signing books at CGC. The deadline is November?
I think it's November 1st.
Is it November 1st? I wanted to say the 13th or something for some reason, but
the deadline is November 11th, isn't it? They have to be there by the 11th, I think.
I can't remember. Look it up. It can't be hard to find.
And I'll have mine there way early, so it don't matter.
I'm going to send in a couple if I can.
Oh, I'm going to take out a loan to send in my books.
Yes. Me and Jelly talked. And we have come to the conclusion that I'm sending this one in.
Nice. So that's the question. If you send it like that, are they going to basically keep that label and then just add on to it since it's already verified?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So it'll say signed by Stan Lee on 5. Todd McFarlane on, November, whatever, 2020.
Yeah.
But the whole point of this was to transition into
what he will and won't sign. So there's really no better way. Just let him say it himself. So I've got to video him of what he will and won't sign.
Before we go crazy, it is Todd McFarlane, Superflex.
Yeah. You'll have to see. It's just him like, I won't sign this book, and pulls out an Action Comics 1. Like, I won't sign this book, and it's funny, but it's good. But
it's a good video, guys.
It's PC though, right?
Yeah, it's his PC.
Yeah.
So this is what he will and won't sign. It's going to take a second to load here since I'm so far away from the Wi-Fi.
Everybody, Todd McFarlane here. I'm going to be doing a signing at the headquarters of CGC, and I know that some people are wondering, hey, what books can I get signed? There seems to be some confusion. So today we're going to go through it. So let's talk about what I will and I will not sign. I will not sign anything that I did not do the artwork if it does not include a character I did not create. So if you come up to me and brained, although I like the character a lot, your first issue was Spider-Man, not going to sign it. right? I can't do it. I didn't do any artwork in there. Good for Steve Ditko. Good for Stan.
He should have messed with
Good
them.
for Steve Ditko.
For Fantastic Four. Can't sign it. Didn't do anything. As a matter of fact, I was born that year, so I was barely even a zygote at that point. And even if you want to go to an extreme and go, Todd, but I like history, so what if I bring you my Action Comics #1? Even if you bring your Action Comics #1, I can't sign it. So don't bring these to me. I won't sign them. Good books to have, but I won't sign them. So what will I sign? Here's the easy stuff. I'll sign stuff that I actually did artwork in. #1, that's the easy part, right? Whether it was the cover or it was the inside, I'll sign that. So if you want to bring anything from Spawn, Spider-Man, Hulk, some of the stuff I did, I'll do it. Literally anything from the beginning of my career. Here's the first book I ever did in my career. Everything from the beginning of my career.
I love how he's got it in a
I
9.2.
got any credit for writing, penciling, inking,
Right.
cover only. Inking the cover, you can bring all
Signed by Stan Lee.
I also will do
It's
any
signed by
Spawn
him
books
and
I
Stan Lee, but a
create Spawn.
9.2.
So even if I didn't do any artwork or writing in it, I created the character, I will sign it. So that means I will sign anything Venom. Even if I did no artwork, I will do it. So books that I did the artwork in, books that have characters that I personally created or co-created, I will sign. But what I'm not going to do is, for instance, I will sign that, and I will sign this. This is Spider-Man 300. Here's another cool one here, right? Here's a book I won't sign. This was a real book. Silk #2. I get it. It's a parody of what I drew, but I had nothing to do with this book. This is what I call a parody or
You
an
should piss him
homage.
off and send in
I
the
had nothing to
shenanigans.
do with this book other than somebody paying tribute to me, so I'm not going to sign those books. I'm also not going to sign
Fucking own a copy.
like a blank sketch cover for a book that I had nothing to do. So for instance, here's one here. I won't sign this one, although it was a nice sort of comment that Stan gave to me.
For
I had nothing to
terrific
do with this
Todd.
book, issue #1 here. This is one of the newer Spider-Man #1s because there's 12 dozen of them these days. And I did no artwork on the cover itself or did a doodle or anything. So if you bring me something blank that I had no credit on the inside, I'm not going to do it. That also means then, besides the regular comic book, you can even bring stuff like this, right? So this is a trade paperback, Wolverine. I never really drew Wolverine, but inside this trade paperback, they're reprinting a bunch of books, and part of what they're reprinting is one of my Hulk issues, right? So they've got the Hulk issue in here, and so again, that's reprinting 340. So this contains in this book some of my artwork. I'd gladly sign that to you, right? Which basically means there's essentially, when you include that I'll sign anything Venom, anything Spawn, there are literally thousands of books you can choose from. So hopefully you guys don't get too disappointed for a couple that you thought I was going to sign. But that's it. Bring me the 1,000 that I will sign, and don't bring me the other ones, even if it's an Action Comics #1 or.
He's doing it again.
Gotta go back to the well.
All right, that's it. Thanks.
He should have flexed on his baseball collection, man, because that's where it gets.
Oh, the baseballs.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing he didn't mention too, by the way, if you guys are invested in that, if you go to his actual toy store online,
Yeah.
he gives you, if you spend over $50, he will give you the retailer incentive, or the you know, it has the gold label, gold foil, and everything. He will not sign that. So
Yeah.
heads up. I'm
Yeah,
totally
so-
spinning in shenanigans now. I'm doing it.
All right. Let me see if I can.
But
Let me go to my.
that was another one we didn't talk about with Hulk 3. Just an infamous cover of Todd. I can't believe I missed it.
Oh, I mean, when we were talking about Hulk covers, that was just
Yeah.
in my head.
When you think Todd McFarlane, honest to God, you think Spawn 1, you think ASM 300, you think Batman 420, 340.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. I mean, like, your brain might subconsciously throw in something else because it's some, but those are the ones that, like, he is most well known for his runs that he's worked on. So found that video out there, and I thought that was great. Got it to Jelly. He's like, I'd seen this like it's just a giant flex. I'm like, yeah, but it does explain how he does and doesn't, and what he does and doesn't sign.
I mean, there's good information in it for sure.
I thought it was hilarious. I like,
yeah. Okay, so here's where I'm going to get a little bit wild. I'm going to start throwing haymakers now. So what I think, okay, so we'll just talk about the state of currently DC. So DC is in rough shape. So it currently, let's see, Warner Brothers owns them, and then what is it, AT&T owns them. So the comic portion of DC, actually of all their licensing and everything, counts for about 0.2% of AT&T's overall revenue. So it's a very small drop in the bucket, in a very large bucket. And so they got rid of DC's toys. I can't remember what the name was. It DC Direct? What's the name of their toys? I feel like it was DC Direct.
Yeah, it is DC Direct. It's out right now.
Yes. So what did he do is the AT&T CEO scrapped that line because it wasn't making money, scrapped it. And what does he do? Sells the licensing to McFarlane Toys. So they're making DC toys.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can share this screen.
Which, by the way, I already started investing in some of those Blackest Night, which are killers, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Got a big ass Necron, dude. The Necron is killer. I'm going for it. I don't care.
So, I believe we're seeing the first step towards.
Say it.
Hear me out. The first step towards Todd McFarlane becoming the publisher for DC.
Oh, that's a thought.
And I'll show you one thing that leads me to believe that I am on the right track. So they licensed all of the DC characters from McFarlane Toys. And they asked for a redesign of the Flash costume. So this is what McFarlane does, comes out with the Flash costume for this. And what comes with this but a new Flash #1 published by DC with Todd McFarlane's redesigned costume on it. So I think the licensing to the characters is going to go to Todd McFarlane, and I believe he becomes the publisher, and I will say has a lot of creative input into what goes on with the IP of DC going forward.
I see it happening completely. I really could. And here's the reason why. Look at Todd McFarlane. Look at Image sales. Image's copyrighted material, like their toys, their everything, their line. What do people talk about weekly? These titles. Right?
Yeah, you look
title.
You look at DC. What are they putting out? They're putting out 13 different Batman books.
Yeah.
And
Superman, but now Superman's woke as hell.
Yeah.
And they're heading for J1 on there. Sorry.
So I heard someone talking about this, and I can't remember who it was. It was a video on YouTube. I saw a guy talking about how there was a liberal kind of bastion of people within, I think it was Warner Brothers that was driving all these characters that are getting bad receptions because they're changing everybody to be, different sexual orientations when nobody cares about a character's sexual orientation. So
I
they
don't care
started,
whether he goes by he and him, she and or it. Don't.
yeah, I'm looking for people to save people and getting cool fights and stuff. I don't care who they're kissing on the side. But anyway, I mean, you look back at all the history of comics and there's like 2 weddings, of people getting married that anybody even cared about.
Yes.
Other than that, it was like nobody has ever cared about relationships in comics.
Nope.
I digress. Anyway, so this guy stated that
it's okay. We talk about the controversial. That's part of what we do.
Yeah. So anyway, this guy said that he was thinking that these people at Warner Brothers have just driven the sales into the ground, have alienated their customer base, and it would just make sense to me that if he's already cut the toys out, the comics would be next. And I mean, because this guy's a businessman, he's not going on history, he's not going on feelings, he's going on if something's making money and worth spending money on.
Yes.
So how do you make the most money from these characters? You license them out to people. You get people spending money on stuff and you get royalties for them. You don't have to put anything more into those characters. No. This is what I see happening. I see Todd McFarlane taking over publishing for DC. And I believe he cuts the titles way down and leaks them back over time. Redesigned, new stories. Because, I mean, we all know Spawn. He's got like 5 different backstories. He's got conflicting backstories that over the years. So I see him just reinventing DC.
Spawn died. Literally, there's that one where Spawn, he basically had nothing else to live for. He was just done, offed himself, literally, and he went into like this hellish version of a Kryptonian coma, and then came back even stronger. Like, what in the holy hell's going on?
Yeah. So I mean, during Spawn, they have rewritten canon several times. So that's what I see. He's not afraid to do that. So I can see him going after these characters and doing something like that.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
So I can say you heard it here. That's the spec.
I agree. Actually, I can see that happening.
Titles are currently actually selling them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think right now he's got the Todd McFarlane has a center stage right now, media-wise, comics. He is the, you know what I mean? Like, you could throw anybody else in there, toe-to-toe with Todd McFarlane. 99% of the time, the first person who's going to get the most attention is Todd McFarlane. My opinion. Just everything on multimedia. He's got the marketing team. He's got everything that he needs. Plus, the man, I hate to say it, as much as the guy's a marketing genius. To give that guy, like...
He's just, his vision is so... He knows how to make things really, really appealing.
Dude, he has 3 congruent comics going on right now. Scorched, Gunslinger, and King Spawn. No, 4. And Spawn.
Spawn,
so you have those going. And not only did he say, you know what, I'm going to have 4 comics out, but let me go ahead and reduce the prices on them so people can pick them all up. And at the same time, realistically, people don't realize they're spending almost $15 a week.
Well, they're like, hey, they're $2.99. I'm grabbing all the covers.
Yeah.
You know?
What Todd needs right now I don't want to say an MCU, right?
I mean, I think anybody can do a DC universe, because they bailed on that streaming service right away. They had there was only one good thing on there. It was that Swamp Thing. And they spent all the money to get up and running and just bailed on it within a year.
Well,
oh yeah.
Well, dude, they did well They do so all the DC shows that are on Netflix,
Yeah.
they get good viewership. They get good titles. Have huge actors and actresses in them, right?
Gotham was very good.
Yeah, you can check that one out.
But all those shows are great,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Supergirl, like the WB shows. I
Dude,
mean, those
Green
all
Arrow.
do well.
The Flash was killer.
I really like the Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought the Flash, especially when you got into like Zoom and everything, I was like, I'm in.
Oh yeah, Dr. Zoom, dude.
Yeah, man, I was all about it. I was like, dude, this is awesome. Especially when he starts messing with, they start going into the particle accelerator and everything. I was like, oh, dude,
Yes,
give me more of this, please.
dude.
Yeah.
Huge nerd out. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I loved. Truly do. I like that's hands down my favorite one.
oh yeah,
Legends of Tomorrow, right?
yeah, man.
But if they were to bring those same storylines to a DC universe movie production with big budget, amazing directors and producers, right? They would do well.
You just need to get the story right.
Yeah,
And they need to be like they need to have like $1 billion, maybe two, so that they can kick a movie out, and while they've got 2 or 3 others in production, because that's what you have to do. Marvel does so fucking well is because they weren't making one movie. They started Iron Man, right? They started Iron Man, and while Iron Man action, they were writing 3 others, and then they were creating new stories. And they came in and were like, either we fucking win or we lose.
Yeah. Well, they were weaving storylines together,
right?
You get to see a complete movie, but then you had a reason to go see the next one because the stories are woven kind of together.
Like Iron Man.
Those end credits.
Yeah.
Like who? Come on, just humor me. Who plays Iron Man?
Oh, so you keep cutting out, at least for me.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
RDJ.
Robert Downey Jr., right?
Yep.
So, man, how many people really knew who Robert Downey?
Well, he was super famous. Then he got busted.
That's where I knew him from.
He wasn't super famous. He wasn't super famous. He had some good movies along the way. One of my favorite movies was Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Of that movie, right? That's my earliest remembrance of him.
Yeah.
And
mine's Natural Born Killers.
They took characters, they took actors, they took chances on actors that were not huge. They weren't, oh my, right? They weren't blown up beyond belief. And they was
super famous.
Like Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp has had a long career, but he is much more known for fucking pyro than just about anything, right?
Yeah.
He was famous before, but he is more famous for Jack Sparrow, right?
Yeah, for a franchise.
Johnny Jr. was famous before, but he's much more famous because
I will say though,
Captain America. I mean, all of those guys, Chris Hemsworth,
those
guys, Christopher Pine, they all were like, I'll say actors and actresses, right? But they got these movie roles, them to complete and total stardom.
Yeah,
they need to find actors instead of trying to buy like Jason and all these other guys.
On that note, Am I the only one that was excited
Well-
to see like the Dark Side showdown and everything? Like at the end, at least of like the Snyder Cut and everything. Like I wanted to see
Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut
was
fantastic.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just me. I hear a lot of people like, man, I couldn't like. I love the Snyder Cut. I thought.
Well,
they
I wasn't
did-
even
Dude.
going to watch Batman when they said Ben Affleck was going to be Batman. I was like, oh no, I
Mhm.
hate that guy so much. Like, I hate
Still
the
have
smirk.
yet to watch Twilight Batman. I refuse.
Twilight. Batman.
I just, I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
like
Took me a
the
minute.
shit-eating grin on his face. I just don't.
That's my
I-
uncles call him Ben Affleck.
Yeah, it's just there's just something about his smirk that you just want to slap it off his face. But he was actually good in the Snyder Cut.
Boy.
I did not mind him one bit.
A regular one, dude. Like it was like this isn't Batman. Like why is he asking so many questions instead of taking the initiative?
Yeah,
I
Batman
did not
versus
like that.
Superman. I did not enjoy Batman versus Superman.
I have yet
I-
to see it, honestly.
I did not like it either, just because of the simple fact that Batman
Yeah.
would have been killed in about 0.3 seconds.
Like Superman would have absolutely just destroyed, killed Batman in a split second.
Yeah, he would have been
But-
sitting in his recliner eating Chef Boyardee out of the can before
Wait.
he even knew what was happening.
Frank Miller had something to do with it.
What's that?
Did Frank Miller have something to do with it? Because he had Batman going there all gung ho or something. 'Cause I'd never seen it, so I'm just saying.
It's good.
No, it's
I mean,
not
it's
that-
not.
It's 2 hours of Batman and Superman fighting is not realistic.
Yeah,
I'm
completely.
just saying. Yeah, it's that Ben Affleck face. Oh no, is he listening?
Justice League was good.
Yeah,
Dude, I
Justice
actually
League
enjoyed
Snyder
it.
Cut was amazing.
yeah.
Like
But think about that.
If-
the
if
hype
it
we
was-
had around the
it was
Snyder
done
Cut.
right. Justice League Snyder Cut would have been just as Infinity Wars if they had done all the movie production, built up the characters, had the Cyborg movie, had the Wonder Woman movie, had the Batman
Dude, Martian
movie, had
Manhunter. I got hyped when
Martian
I saw that.
Manhunter.
Yeah, dude, when I saw that, I was like, what? Dude, I'm all about it. I
But
need
you-
some Jean in my life.
That's what I'm saying. They had so much
Thank you.
heat coming off that cut, and then did nothing about it.
Yes.
Just let it sit there. Like, why were you not? You knew you had already released the other movie. Everybody said, "Oh, I want to see the Snyder cut of the movie," and so you know you're going to release it. Why were you not starting production on something else at that point?
They should have
Keep hitting them.
absolutely been making a fucking Martian Manhunter movie.
Well, instead you come out with Wonder
They should have
Woman
been like that. Should have been being
84.
Is it
Yeah.
me too? Also, like
I'm
I just
terrible.
feel like the DCU, the DCU, in my opinion, is confusing to me because they have this spinoff and then that spinoff and then that solo story, and I get the one-shot movies, but then I'm questioning constantly like what's connected
they
with
tried
what?
to catch up.
Yeah.
Like
I
is
mean,
the
but
Joker connected to
I'm
anything?
like-
The Joaquin Phoenix?
Yes.
So the Jokers are interesting because those have been done almost as art pieces on their own.
They're phenomenal, by the way. So
They are fantastic. But I'm trying to think, what is
Three
the Joaquin
Jokers movie.
Phoenix?
oh
Yeah.
The Three
Yes.
Jokers movie.
Too bad Heath Ledger's
From-
dead.
from-
Could you imagine if you had the two of those guys?
Right?
dude, Nicholson, Heath Ledger, and then you throw in holy shit.
Well,
If someone-
Nicholson's too old, or else I would love that.
Well, they have like they could find a way how to give him a cap. Well, like
Yeah,
you know
they
what I
could
mean? Like
they could CGI him back.
Yeah.
I mean, dude's over there spilling chili on himself on the side of a basketball game. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could sit there and wing.
Yeah, he could dub in a few laughs.
Yeah, man.
No, true story.
But I don't off the rails. I
But
apologize.
I digress.
So
No,
anyway,
you're good.
so-
Like the whole point of it is Todd
yes,
and
but so
saving DC.
let's say Todd picks up DC. what do you think that does as a comic book collector for DC keys as they stand now?
Oh,
Do you think it brings, like, are we sitting on a point right now where, I mean, DC stuff is cheap.
so
Yes.
I mean, is it time to start snatching up DC?
Right
Are
now,
we seeing,
dude,
are we
right
seeing
now
a
is a
second
great
coming?
Dude, right now is a great time to buy DC keys. As of the stay out of the golden age, right? Stay out of the golden age. Silver and newer. Right now is buy.
Yeah.
100%.
like,
I agree.
dude, Doomsday. Like, why isn't that bigger than it needs to be? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, I love that damn comic, and sometimes I just feel that some of these books are just
the
so
reason
undervalued.
Doomsday is because Doomsday's in the 90s and they made 5 million copies.
Oh,
They made-
okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
The death
I
of
still-
Superman was literally an international event.
By the way, I'm all about.
Now, if you were to say the exact statement about like Forever People 1
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for
and,
sure.
and one, oh my God, what's the other one?
I don't know. You keep cutting out, man.
Number
Just
one.
say, what's the
Forever
other?
People. Other one.
I still can't hear you.
I want to see a McFarlane get a hold of a logo, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
One, and then another comic that came out in the exact same time frame. Another that
his
is
internet.
just
Yeah, it's your internet.
well, fuck.
Anyway, there's a lot of large books, a lot of keys to be had in the DC that universe that remain largely untouched except for eBay. I mean, to sell DC books on an auction, especially a YouTube auction, it's hard to do. And it's been that way for years.
Super cheap.
Yeah. So I say now's the time to start looking. And DC Silver is not hard to find. Now, large keys are hard to find, but you know, your first Silver Age Penguin and stuff like that, those are not easy to come by. But I mean, getting runs of Detective from like the 60s and stuff like that, they're not too hard to find.
No, you can find them in
And
Detective,
in fairly
Superman,
decent condition.
Dude, what was that one?
Preset
That one that you had, the first Riddler. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's a
My God.
goldie.
Yeah, man.
So, well, has anybody got anything else to say? We're coming up.
Oh, question.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
how'd
question.
that shirt come out, man?
It's over at my girlfriend's house, actually.
Oh, okay.
Dang it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I said I hadn't opened it yet. It's
I was
over at her
curious because
house.
that's the first print, and I was like, man, I better have separated that right, man.
Like I said, I've gotten shirts from Bonfire before, and they are the printing is really nice, and the fabric is really comfortable.
Oh, cool.
And it holds up to washing really well. So
Wow, that's all.
I'm hoping that these are going to be fantastic shirts because it started to cool off here, and I think I got a long sleeve, so I'm going to be
man.
wearing it quite a bit.
Oh, I'm gonna jump on one of those hoodies, man. I'm telling you, that purple
Yeah, I
one,
think
man.
I'm going to grab
Dude,
I got to decide which art I want on the hoodie.
yeah, man.
I had to go with the ASM for the long sleeve T-shirt.
Well, I know that you're saying like, oh man, that. By the way, that was a credit to you because you're like, man, I just want that on the front of a shirt. I'm like, I got you.
Yeah, I was like, I want merch.
Yeah, dude. But
Yeah,
man. No, I was curious. But besides that, yeah, man. I know that another thing to bring up too, just real quick. McFarlane's going to be having a Sam and Twitch that's going to be coming out pretty soon. Animated series. So he's kind of building his own little universe all over again, all over the damn place, cinematically.
Yeah. Like I
So-
said, he is always pushing. He's always, and if Todd's got a vision, you got to go with it. So that's why I have to think that if DC is going to be saved, it's going to be at the hands of Todd McFarlane.
Oh, I 100% agree. And I could say as a buyer, if I see a title, Todd McFarlane did it, redesigned characters, everything, I'm going to buy it.
Oh,
Because I'm
100%.
like, dude, that's all it takes. And that's where the smart marketing comes in. At the end of the day, if you have like a low marketing scheme, we're like, what do we do? How do we reinvigorate these characters? Throw Todd McFarlane on it.
Well, until 2 years ago, Todd just been putting out Spawn, and all of a sudden, Scorched, King Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn all come out, and they all set records for the year in sales. So he's still got the heat.
I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon either, man.
I
just
don't
to
think
be
so
honest.
either.
Like this, I'm already anticipating the Batman Spawn. Like you see those virgins that are coming out. I want to know down the line what's going to be the 1/100s, 1/1000s. What's going to go on with those, because those are going to be the books to get. And at the end of the day,
Can you hear me now?
I
I
think
can
it's
hear
better.
you. You're a little pixelated, but
Looks like he should be. He's skipping still.
yeah, I can hear you breathing all heavy though.
Right here.
Yeah, say hello to Papa Wheelie.
But no, once those come out, that's the only thing I'm going to say is like people need to start jumping on those ASAP, because those are going to be books to have, and I'm probably going to sell my left kidney for one.
Yeah, so we'll have to do. I want to get to some FOC like keys that are coming out so people can jump on them. So we'll have to mention when the FOC comes up for this, because let's see, they're out to December, so it's not quite FOC yet.
That would be a
It's
good one to
getting
get
there.
with Cat 60 with too, man.
Oh yeah, everybody should go bonkers when Cat does his Tuesday FOC polls. I know I will.
Oh, dude, I already. I got to get. Actually, just a reminder for people that are watching: make sure you get in there before tomorrow. He's going to have his deadline. Is it tomorrow?
He has to have his
deadline.
order in Saturday.
So yeah, so he needs it by Sunday. So he said Sunday night is so yeah, he wants it Saturday.
I think Saturdays, yeah. Best time to get him in. So, unless anybody's got anything else to say, we could probably wrap it up. We've all gushed on Todd McFarlane for 2 hours.
Oh, dude, I'll borderline get a restraining order from him. He's probably already writing it up right now.
You gotta stay without 100 feet away from him.
Keep that, dude. He's sending the McFarlane squad after me right now, man.
Go get the
Give me
president of my fan club.
a minute.
Okay.
He's gonna try to tweak it. Well, yeah, man, that was it was funny too, because the first homage besides the shenanigans ASM 300 was going to be a Spawn 1 homage, and they're so identical. It's like one of those things where
I'll say what, to me, Spawn 1, the most iconic thing on it is the colors.
the colors and that hand. That's about it. The only reason why, obviously, the ASM 300 is way more iconic just because, dude, it's got so much more elements to it, and just.
But literally, if I squinted my eyes to the point where I couldn't see anything, and I could just see colors, and somebody held the book up and said, "What book is this?" I could tell you immediately it was Spawn.
Oh yeah,
just from the colors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
And I feel like they should call that like neon green. That should be called Spawn green.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to show a few things that might possibly be going to signing.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
That's a good
Newsstand
one.
Hope 340. It's a beautiful book. And of course, You got to have
Oh yeah.
work in Spider-Man,
Oh,
$298. Then, of course, $29. And the one everybody loves, $300.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And
Send them all.
you heard him. He just told me to send them because these are his books.
Hey, can I get my Shenanigans original and then put an acetate over it? maybe he'll sign that.
I think you have to design the acetate.
Son of a.
And then I think you have to take his wife or something. I'm not sure how that goes.
Damn it.
Something like that.
But
I don't know. I don't know the rules.
We talked, and if everybody can hear me for just 2 minutes, right? Me and Jelly talked about this, and we talked about risk versus reward, right? This is one of my favorite. This is probably one of my absolute favorite comics because we got the Todd, we got Young, we got Stan Lee, and we got David Michelinie.
Yeah, that's a monster.
Now, of this, more, right? So, which one do I have on this one? How awesome would Todd?
So he's got the
Michelinie
signature on there that
get Todd on here.
you can't get. Now.
Get Michelinie in here. Get Scotty Young in here.
Oh, you got it.
Might as well get Rob Liefeld too.
And Liefeld, right?
Ask under remarks of feet.
So yeah, remark some feet.
That would be a feat to be.
That would ruin it.
But right,
2.1.
So I paid a price for this book. Like me and Jelly, we really did. And I paid a price for this book that was back at 9.8. After getting Todd's signature on here, it's a huge win. If it comes back at 9.6 after getting Todd's signature on it, I'm still. So you might look at your own personal collection, right? Do that risk versus reward, right?
And remember, a signature from what's he charging? Is he doing 85 like normal?
And altogether per book.
Well,
what was it?
110.
110. Okay. I think the last time he signed it was 85, I think. So, yeah. So you're looking at 110 for signature, book graded, back to you. Well,
yes.
Plus, I guess I should say plus shipping.
You can get that custom label.
And you get the custom label. So honestly, I can't think of any book that anybody would have that would lose money by spending $110 to get Todd McFarlane to sign it.
I could tell you what I'm going to do. All the books that you crazy bastards got me for my birthday.
Yeah, man.
Because those are never, seriously, never leaving my PC. Those are, when I fully develop the MadHouse headquarters, where we're going to be broadcasting from in the future, you're going to see those right in the back wall. Those are never leaving. So I'm going to.
You got that one signed by Jay Scott.
How would that work, by the way?
So they'll mark it as signed J. Scott Campbell.
So
put a date on
it. Name written on cover.
It'll say signed quotes.
So it'll still get a yellow.
It'll get a yellow for the Todd McFarlane signature.
So it'll get a half yellow, half green.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a Venom book that was done by Murat Michaels, right? Uh-huh. And I had Sam De La Rosa sign it, and I got yellow for Sam De La Rosa, but because Murat had signed the front of it as well, it wasn't, whatchamacallit. So it was half yellow label with a green stripe.
Oh, gotcha.
but you got the COA.
Yeah.
So most
Yeah.
collectors would take that as.
Oh no, I
signature
personally
series.
don't. I just it's a sentiment to me because you guys are.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not-
you would have a yellow label.
Yeah.
It would have a very visible green stripe on it.
Oh, I'm cool with that. I don't care.
To get around that, and you can get around that, is if you take it to a show that Murat's at
Mhm.
and have him
Yeah, he'd have to
And
submit it
submit.
himself.
or a CGC witness was there and Murat says, no, that's my,
Yeah,
Okay.
and I've seen that kind of thing happen.
yeah. Or he'll say, "Yeah, I signed this." And just pick a day.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Sorry, I just wanted, that was one thing I
No, that was a good question.
was so as collectors, right? I love my books, but as also as a financial investor, there's two sides to every coin. You got the seller, the collector, the flipper, you have a book that's already signed that's a 9.8. Todd McFarlane signings are there going to be?
Yeah. Well, that's
Right?
just a limited
Dude,
label, man.
What? He's what? 71?
Well,
Is he?
61?
He first
He's
showed
60.
up. He first he just showed up for the first time at San Diego Comic-Con.
Which was
And-
right down the way, and I didn't go.
Oh, dude.
61. He's 61. He's 61.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's he hasn't been out much doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, he's focusing on
often,
business,
right?
so he's not going to those cons and stuff anymore and doing big signings. I mean,
Get
the last
those-
time, what did he do? 2019 or 2018?
Yeah.
It's been a
He's had
while,
a signing event.
and they had literally a warehouse come in for him to sign. He was signing for what, 3 or 4 days, like
Yeah.
nonstop. So
Like they literally line him up where he doesn't see anything about him. He doesn't. All he does is just sign.
the cool thing about it is
Cramps.
sometimes he'll take the packing slip from somebody's books and call him on the phone on his cell phone and say hi. It's
Yes.
crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I would jizz in my pants.
Dude, I'd totally be like Jonah Hill with,
Yeah.
the excited scream and everything if he did that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
So a friend there with him when he does his signing. He actually did. He helped Todd do his promo video that everybody's seen showing his signing event, talking about it for CGC. He helped him do that. I'm gonna hopefully
Dude, the
send
guy's
a
a
couple.
marketer. What other people have you seen that are going to do their CGC signings and do their own videos to promote it, like during the signing, and are having fun and doing things? Like
Yeah.
he's always on. He's always marketing. Oh, son of a-
I won't keep talking or keep blabbing about this stuff. I want you guys to think about it. There is no more Stan, right? There is no. Who else just passed? There is no more
George Perez. I mean, we're just
Perez.
losing all kinds of big
Right?
people.
These guys are gone. So true collector, maybe sell a few things out of your collection so you can get the signature on this one book that you truly love. M300, even though it's low grade, sell a couple other books or whatever, send that one in and get that signature on there, because that's something you're going to cherish and care about forever.
Absolutely.
Just take the chance. That's all. Because you don't know how many more of these things are going to happen. You
I
can't.
think that's a fantastic note to end on. So, Helvetica, thanks so much for coming and shooting the shit with us about Todd Father. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's like my second wife. So It's all good.
Do we get a cameo appearance?
I thought I was going to talk Helvetica into start drawing next month's Patreon print. I thought we could. Let's get a little sneak peek, but he said
that's
it's
this weekend.
top secret.
Weekend. I'm actually working on something else right now. That's like, yeah, it's going to be community based still too, but
nice. All right, so, well, appreciate you guys. Got anything to say, Jay?
Yes. I'm sorry, I was just not doing good this week.
Oh, it's just your connection.
No, I meant a record like the
Christian
Santa Maria.
We gotta wait. That's got to be like a special Christmas time thing.
I know, but I love those. I love these record stuff.
I do too. But we'll go broke trying to do one every week.
I don't know. I've got 4 more here right now.
The ones compliments of Ty Salazar, right?
Did he send the Batman Superman?
I think he did.
Oh, nice.
Hold on. I didn't want to do it now. I wanted to do. Isn't that?
Oh, this turned into a box opening video.
Fun.
What's it gonna be?
He's gonna open it and something's gonna flop out. That's not mine.
Why is the box vibrating?
What is that? National Lampoon's?
Oh yeah.
Who put the cat in the box?
Yeah, she wrapped her damn cat. Oh, that's sweet. Ah, that's so sweet.
So, let me move these. About these are the only ones like this. All the others were just the record, cellophane package, but these had all sorts of cool stuff in addition to the comic.
Mm-hmm.
A little dusty.
All right. That's a 3.5 now.
Set it down. The record. Oh, he took it out. Some of the other stuff that came with this one, I remember. Man, hold on. Or he might have took it out so we didn't lose it.
Also a good idea.
But like the Batman came with a decoder ring.
Oh, that's sweet.
A member pin and a card that you could put your name on. Official member of the Batman Code Club. But here's the Batman. From the back, dude, Bob Kane.
Oh, that's sweet.
Right? Look at the kid.
Drink more Ovaltine.
Ovaltine?
And the record.
The record, yeah. I think
is any of that stuff in there? No? Okay, yeah. That's smart.
Yeah, I don't want to blame him.
I mean, there's a chance some of that stuff probably got lost 60 years ago, too.
That's true. But this one had all the... Because, like, I saw this on eBay, and I was like, you know, I think I'm going to buy this for the show.
Yeah.
And Lazar's a dick. He went and bought it.
I think you sent it to me, and I didn't see the message. And then the next message was like, never mind, Ty bought it. It's like,
yeah. Ty fucking buys it. Like, no, man, don't worry. I'll send it to you so you can still use it. And I'm like, okay, we're good. But I mean, just awesome stuff. You what stories and what books and everything else. So I'm kind of but this got some more good for the show. I hope.
Yeah.
I'm
I can't
nerding out a little bit.
I can't wait to do those. Those will be fun.
Those are honestly my favorites when you guys bust those out. I just sit here, I put on my headphones like I'm 6 years old, and I just start drawing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Wait till we can get enough of them to have a playlist. You can just
We got
go
2
into
so far.
Yeah, you can go into your own world.
Mm-hmm.
Technically 4 because we side A to B.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I got to get those ones uploaded too, but we'll talk.
All right. Well,
All right, I'm done. Thank you.
been about 2 hours. So, all right. Again, to Helvetic, appreciate you coming out tonight.
Yes, sir.
You guys
Yes,
are
sir.
so busy Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time doing the auction. And so you guys got to hear the voice of the MadHouse here tonight, the artist, the resident artist of the MadHouse. And again, very much appreciated. J1, love you, brother, as always.
You too.
So everybody out there, have a good night. And